My name's Easton Dana. My father, Joe Dana, is on the adventure of a lifetime in the heart of the Grand Canyon. He is surviving 30 days and 30 nights with nothing but the materials, clothes, and food he could bring on his raft. No cell phone service, dozens or even hundreds of miles away from any other city. Joe has survived the near freezing waters of the rapids he has traversed, as well as the near freezing night temperatures of the canyon that he sleeps in for 30 straight nights. And in this video, I plan to mimic a fraction of Joe's willpower by hiking miles into the deserted forest, off trail, finding a water source, living off the land, and surviving the night. This is the January Joe Challenge. So we're just leaving REI right now, and T-minus, I'd say 12 hours until the hashtag January Joe Challenge starts. We have all of our gear, our big backpacks, and we're ready to get out there. All right, so here we are. We got our gear in the back here. Theoretically, everything we need to survive the night is all in this one backpack. Just spent about $800 at REI yesterday. The goal is we're gonna go down this trail and hike up to the top of that rim. From there, we're pretty much gonna go off trail and back over that ridge for probably about 4 miles until where we think there's a lake, and we're gonna camp along that lake. So let's get it. I'm a bit worried for the night I have ahead. I keep seeing snow along the trail, little bits and pieces of it, but I do not have any clothing built for below freezing temperatures. I keep coming across these trees with the super smooth red wood. It's just all Christmas colors, and it's super cool. I've never seen it before. Feels like it's been sandpapered down. Has these little berries right here. If anybody knows what kind of tree this is, or bush, let me know in the comments. This thing is crazy. So right up there, as you can see, I think that is the top of the rim. We've got to be like 4 or 5 miles in by now. We started at the very bottom of the mountain. And once we get up there, we're on the rim, and then we're going off trail. We're gonna find a water source because I only brought 1 water bottle and I'm running out of water. And we're gonna find some place to set up camp for the night. So I'm joined on my journey by Nash. We just conquered the rim. So now we're just walking through this big flat mesa forest. We heard there's a lake up ahead somewhere. We're gonna find that, get some water, probably set up camp on the ridge of the lake, coast of the lake, and I'm gonna try and fish, catch some dinner. Whew. But we still got a ways to go. So I've just come across my first set of tracks, wildlife tracks. You guys are gonna help me try and figure out what animal this was. As you can see, the tracks go through the snow, very single file. Or no, it looks like maybe this is where it was right here. Now this almost looks like a hoof. Could have been maybe a deer, I think. You know, the tracks are like about this wide, right there and right there. I'm thinking deer. I don't know if there's one out here somewhere. I might have to just catch it and have a really big dinner. So we've broken trail a bit ago, and we're just following iPhone compass towards what we think the direction of a lake is. And I think see it through the trees up there. I'm gonna zoom in. Ooh. See that? That looks like lake, right? We're about to go find out. Oh my gosh, if it's frozen. So the good news is we found the lake, we found a water source. It is completely frozen over. There's snow all around us. We're gonna have to clear up some snow somewhere here to set up camp. And I don't know if we're gonna be able to catch any fish, but we're gonna go ahead and walk around the entire lake, see if we can find any open parts, and see if we can work with this. Okay. I mean, this seems pretty frozen. I'm walking on the lake right now. Of course, this could end badly. I'm just gonna throw this rock right down and see if it breaks ice or not. I mean, I've moved this log to the side here and just look at this. I'm gonna come and zoom here. Whoa, that is some deep ice. I mean, hopefully deep ice, because I'm probably about 40 feet out into the lake now. It's gonna be a cold night. Okay, so we learned that throwing the ice out more into the middle where the snow isn't, it makes a crazy noise. So Nash is gonna try and throw a rock out. I'm gonna put a mic down to the floor here. Also, there's a crack right here, so I'm not gonna go past that crack. And, or maybe, you know what, I'm gonna go over to this ice right here, and we're gonna see if we can hear the noise. Throw it. Did you guys hear that? That was awesome. I found this prime icicle. Looks sick. That was satisfying. So there's this weird ridge of ice, and then, so it's like the water froze, then the water line went down. Nash, come step on this and see what happens. It's pretty weird. Oh, there we go. So no idea what kind of geological formation this is, but it's pretty weird. Here's some, what I assume to be deer droppings. All right, we think we found the spot about 6 miles, probably maybe between 6 and 5 miles from where we parked. Maybe 2.5 miles from where we left the trailhead. And nice flat spot right here. Only bit of running water is right here. And look at that view to wake up to. Nice. Nice view. The goal now is going to be set up tent, gather some firewood, make sure everything's set up before dark, and in between them maybe try and catch and cook a fish. Not sure how much luck I'm going to have because it's really cold. Also try and prepare for the cold night ahead. I didn't realize the lake would literally be frozen and that there's snow around us. I don't have gloves. I just have this long sleeve t-shirt and a sweater. No colder winter gear. It's gonna get below freezing tonight. And so hopefully I can figure out how to start a fire too, because that's gonna help in keeping warm as the sun goes down. And I'm gonna need a fire to cook a fish on. If I can't start a fire, I have a propane jet boil system that I'm gonna use to maybe eat some ramen, or to boil up some dehydrated meal I have. All right, here's a time lapse of us setting up our tent. Alrighty, we got the tent pretty much set up. Alright, so while setting up my sleeping bag, my microphone broke, so the audio might get a little windy for the rest of this video. But I have my sleeping bag set up. It's purple. It's very cozy, very warm. And ideally, when it gets really cold, wonder if like this, put this over, and then it's just gonna be this little bit poking out, and I can even cinch it down if I want, so I'm all the way in here. So I shouldn't get cold tonight, but I don't know. We'll find out. All right, let's go grab some wood for the fire. Now that the interior of the tent is all set up, this is what it looks like, by the way. Maybe go catch a fish. Maybe have a snack. Actually, what I'm gonna do before all that, while I'm still in the tent, is set up my fishing pole, which I bought from Bass Pro Shop, and it is tiny. You see this little thing? This tent, these sleeping bags, cooking materials, stove, a lot of stuff to fit in that one backpack, so I had to compromise with this tiny baby fishing pole. It extends just to be about that big. So, not sure I'm gonna have much luck catching a fish. But I went to a local fly shop. Got these little lures. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this pole up so I can have it immediately ready and available if I see any fish jumping. Anything like that. Okay, so I got this sweater on. And this Nike Tech Shiesty, which, if needed, is gonna keep me really warm, right? And now what I'm doing is going around gathering firewood. Let me show you what I've done. So I've found this nice bit of rock, and I've organized a few rocks around it, and I've whittled this little stick. There's some shavings there. I'm gonna put a little more tinder. And then this right here, I forget what it's called, but I saw it on a TikTok. Basically, it's a bunch of half whittled items on a stick, and it should light these and then slowly light this stick. And I'm collecting some kindling, which is what you use after tinder. A little bit of bigger sticks, going from the smaller sticks here to the larger sticks here that I'm gonna, put on a pyramid over that. But something I noticed while I was doing all this, poop right here. I want to think it's dog poop, but it's pretty big. Like that one right there is about the size of my fist, and could be bear poop, which is a little nerve-wracking, but and just like that, I'm out of water, or at least the water that I got before I came on the trip. Luckily, there is a surplus of water all around me. And what we're gonna have to do, and it is cold. My fingers are about to get really cold by scooping this water. But what we're gonna have to do, put it in a water bladder like this, and then we have this filter. So the goal, fill this water bladder up, just screw on this filter, pour it back in my water bottle. That's water I can use to drink, or probably what's gonna happen is I'm gonna use it to make ramen here in a second. Something that'll warm up my hands, warm up my body. And then we're gonna throw a line in. All right, now I just have to pour this in here. My hands are freezing. This is literally almost freezing water. As you can see, it's basically freezing water at some areas. But essentially what I have to do, kind of awkwardly hold this over, connect them, and then squeeze. Okay, my fingers are the coldest they've ever been in their life. They hurt so bad. I have this jet boil going. I'm gonna try and use it also to heat up my fingers and hold my fingers over. Dang! And come over here, I have a bit of top ramen I brought. I can't even feel myself pick this up. Like, I know I'm touching it, but I cannot feel it. And I guess when this gets to a boil, oh my god, my fingers hurt so bad. When this gets to a boil, which should be about like 90 seconds, it's supposed to boil really fast. Oh, it's already feeling warm on my fingers. I'm gonna throw some ramen in there. I'll see you in the next clip when I'm eating my ramen and I feel way better. All right, I feel much better now. This ramen's good. So I've been dropping some lines in the past 20 minutes or so, and I'm starting to think, because it's winter, the fish are all pretty sedentary. And so right now I'm using this spinning lure that kind of acts like a minnow or something, which I think is just not the right bait right now, because obviously there's no minnows because it's not spawning season. And even if there were, the fish are too cold and sedentary to be going after like live bait. They're probably eating worms and stuff that they don't have to work so hard for. So, I mean, I'll keep trying, but I don't think I'm gonna catch a fish. We'll see. Okay, we moved the fire from up there down towards the here area because we like it more over here. Also, there's less dead grass and stuff that might catch on fire. I'm gonna pretend it didn't take me 20 minutes to try and light this stupid effing fire, but now I finally have it lit and maintaining it now. Hopefully I can do. But yeah, I'll keep you updated. Fire is here. Alrighty, fire's put out here in my tent. Time to get some sleep. Got pretty chilly. The sleeping bag should do the job. Hey there. You might be wondering why you see me here eating a burger in the warm comfort of a Five Guys instead of in the middle of nowhere. Well, that's a funny story. You see, going into this, we knew it would get cold. In fact, we'd researched the weather of Payson, the city we're at, and it looked like it was gonna get around 30 degrees at nighttime, 40s during the day. We were prepared for this. I had a sleeping bag that is rated for 20-degree weather, and I knew I might be a little cold up top because all I have is this sweater, but I figured I'd tough it out. Well, that's not what happened. You see, last night as I was getting into my sleeping bag, I knew it was gonna be cold, but I figured I'd be nice and warm in there. I started getting kind of frustrated when my feet and body were freezing in my supposed 20-degree sleeping bag. Further in the night, I got more frustrated when I went to take a drink of water and our fresh water source was completely frozen solid. Now, eventually, whether it was my body going into hibernation or by my own sheer force of will, I did fall asleep and woke up to a tent covered in frost that fell right all over me when I woke up. The first thing I wanted to do was go and make myself a nice warm cup of coffee. Imagine my surprise when I go out of the tent and see that the lake had completely frozen over and my water source was now solid ice. It felt a lot colder than 30 degrees, and as I scrambled around looking for wood to start a fire, Nash started throwing rocks at the ice so that we could make a small hole to get some water from. It did not help that all of the firewood we'd gathered the day prior was now frozen to the ground, as well as the rocks around the fire pit. So I had to find new, non-frozen firewood and attempt to light the fire with the lighter as my hands were numb. I'm not sure how I did it, but I did get a fire going and we were able to brew a cup of coffee. However, through all of this, my phone would not turn on because of how cold it was. We spent the morning warming by the fire, trying to keep it running as long as we can while we packed everything up. I was unable to fish because the lake was frozen over, and we finally hiked out a long and cold 6 miles. On the drive home, I discovered that, yes, Payson is 30 degrees, but Mogollon Rim, where we were camping, had a low of 1 degree with a wind chill of -4. That was way colder than we were prepared for. Whew, but here we are. We made it. Another challenge of hiking out was our phones did not work, so we kind of had to retrace our steps to figure out where we came from, which wasn't too difficult because there were some, landmarks we followed. But it was a little nerve-wracking knowing that we were completely on our own to find our way back. My feet are blistered like crazy. I wore the wrong shoes for this and the wrong socks. But I learned that next time I'm gonna have a real winter coat that's good for below freezing. I am going to probably get a sleeping bag that is good for freezing temperatures. And I just can't believe that Joe has been living in very similar conditions for the past 30 days. And I am going to nominate George and Will, as well as Carrie, Evan, and the Gibney children, and Tom and Molly, all for the January Joe Spend a Night Outside challenge. This has been crazy. Thank you guys for watching.